Hey, guess what? Maybe you're not autistic. There's 3 reasons why I think that a lot of people could be mistakenly thinking they have autism when they don't actually have autism. I'm talking about all that right now, so don't go anywhere. Guys, welcome back to the Aspie world. My name is Dan, and I have autism and ADHD. Now, I'm going to go over 3 major issues that people see and think, hey, maybe I'm on the autism spectrum. I'm going to go checked out, and maybe I'm autistic. But actually, they're not. And I'm going to get some right now, but before I do videos like this every single week. So if you want to learn more about autism and ADHD, make sure you hit that subscribe button by clicking the notification bell here on YouTube. Now, if you're watching on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter, make sure you click the follow button to see daily videos from me. Okay, so what does it mean to be not autistic but think you are autistic? Look, a lot of people think that, and this is one of the big ones, people think that they have what's called Asperger syndrome, or what used to be called Asperger syndrome, which is now just called ASD level 1. They think this because when they hear the word autism, or when they hear the word kind of autistic, they think of the Rain Man type of, high support needs, what was used to be called the classic autism model, where somebody may not be able to talk, they're almost like a savant, which means that they have extreme impairments in social situations, and they can't talk, and then maybe they need help going to the bathroom, and all those things, kind of like more profoundly disabled, right? That was kind of like the image that people give to people who seem to be autistic in their mind. Now, Asperger syndrome refers to people with lower support needs, but still have quite high issues. So I was diagnosed with Asperger syndrome, and Asperger syndrome is typically like a person who has, issues with like eye contact and socializing, and they're neurologically different. They are autistic, but they just have more ability in certain situations. Now, the reason people think that they do have Asperger's or autism when they don't is because of these 3 main things. Now, the first one is people think that because they have a specific field of interest, or that they're really into something, like you could be into cars, you could be into Pokemon, you could be into Pogs. Okay, I know, I'm showing my age, like Pogs aren't really a thing anymore. You could be into something excessively niche or narrow, and that specifically will make you think, hey, this is not like typical of people. Maybe I'm on the autism spectrum. When in actual fact, this is not true, and it can be further from the truth, because that is not what makes somebody autistic. I have a free Autism Life Hacks PDF book that you can download right now from autismtips.net. It's completely free. You can go there right now and download it. What actually makes somebody autistic is the fact that they find comfort within these things. Those things bring them joy. They bring them so much joy that they have to surround themselves with those things, because those things actually give them a sense of belonging in a scenario where, if you're in a situation where, let's say for instance, you collect rocks, and then you want to learn more about rocks, so you have all the rocks in your bedroom or your office or wherever in your house, and when you have all these rocks around you, when you're looking at the rocks, you begin to understand more about the rock because the appearance of mass. That means that the thing that you want to learn about is right in front of you. And this is what happens with people on the autism spectrum when they have an obsession or a specific topic of interest that they really, really like. That is the main difference. If you just like a topic and know a lot about it, that doesn't mean you're autistic. It's how you understand that topic and how you relate to that topic that makes you autistic. Moving on from that, what actually is really interesting is the fact that a lot of people believe that they're autistic because they have social anxiety. Okay, look. Autism in its integral form is the fact that your brain has an issue with communication, and the communication comes in all forms. It could be written, verbal, social communication, social cues, could be all those things. So autistic people don't always have the best understanding of social formats or how to conduct themselves in a social setting. But if you're anxious around social, situations or social kind of events, it doesn't mean that you're autistic per se. I mean, it could be, but the specific of just having social anxiety could be down to something called a generalized anxiety disorder, or a GAD. Now, these are very common. Now, what's the difference between having autism anxiety and just normal anxiety? There's a huge difference. Anxiety that is within autism is caused by a neurological communication disconnection. There's a disconnect between the communication neurologically, how the person's brain neurons mend together so they can understand the world. Now, a person who is just suffering from anxiety, or a GAD, this person will be suffering from what we know as a mental health condition, which means that you can overcome a mental health condition, or you can find support through therapy and other types of maybe some drugs, that you can overcome anxiety through mental health condition, because mental health issues can be treated and overcome. Whereas autism is a neurological condition, it cannot be overcome and it cannot be cured. It's just something that you have to deal with. Yes, you can make accommodations and you can help with certain areas of it, but it's never going to cure. It's never going to be able to overcome those issues. Now, the last one, which is really, really interesting, and I love this one. People say it all the time, I'm really good with maths. Just because somebody is good with maths does not mean that they're autistic, right? So there's a film called Rayman where Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman play brothers, and Dustin Hoffman's an autistic savant. So he actually has something called savant syndrome. And savant syndrome is a disability, quite a profound disability, but it also allows for some amazing cognitive abilities far beyond the reach of what we can understand. There's only a handful of savants in the world, and he plays one of them, taken after a character of a real-life guy called Kim Peek. Kim Peek, unfortunately, is dead now, but it was from this character that Dustin Hoffman plays the role of this autistic savant called Rain Man. In the movie, he's able to memorize and calculate cards in Vegas, right? When they're playing cards, he can calculate the numbers of cards. He's counting the cards, and then he's able to know what cards would be on the table because he knows what's missing because he's counted the cards, right? And so this kind of is a whole thing. So people think that because they're good at maths, they're autistic, when in actual fact, they're thinking about the word savant, which isn't also true. And here's more profound. Most autistic individuals I know are not that good at maths. Some are, yes, but a lot of them are not. And it's really interesting because people think, oh, it's because, look, maths is patterns. Autistic people are good with patterns, but it's not good with just maths patterns. They're good with every type of pattern. And sometimes they're not good with maths patterns at all. Like my girlfriend, for instance, wouldn't say she's really good at maths, but she's really good at Rubik's Cubes because she can alternate them and change the pattern. And because she knows how to do the Rubik's Cubes, you think, oh, she's good at maths, but she's not good at maths. In the typical sense of thinking, oh, she's a maths genius. I mean, she's like okay at maths, to get along, but I wouldn't say she's like a maths genius, but she is really good at Rubik's Cubes. So it's not always about the pattern of numbers, it's just a pattern in general that autistic people continue to understand that something is really interesting and they can understand it in a certain way because the pattern exists in that way. Now, if you still believe that you may be autistic, you can actually do an online AQ test, which is an autism quotient test. Now, I'll leave a link for it down below, but you can go to theaspieworld.com right now, which is my website, and you can click on the little button that says test. Well, if you click on that, you'll be able to put the numbers in. I think there's about 50 questions or 30 questions, something like that. And it'll give you an answer at the end of it to tell you if you're autistic or not, right? Generally, it's not going to give you a defined, it's not a clinical practitioner. It was created by clinical practitioners, but the test is just a crude way of understanding that maybe you're on the autism spectrum. And I would take those results to your doctor, go see your doctor and ask them what they know about these results and can they test you for autism. Anyway, you guys have been awesome.